And welcome back, Pete, from that break. We are here, the JJ Zone, join the Journey Radio. Today, talking about what are we talking about today? I'm sorry, you played 80s music. I just get all distracted. We played 80s music over the break, so I got distracted. Let's see. Oh, yeah, we're talking about like assumptions that LDS singles make when they're dating. Listen, I mean, it's really quite simple. We talk so much here on the program about fundamentals, and in particular, the fundamentals of the dating journey. Well, here are some fundamentals that apply not just to the dating journey, but to life in general. Your thinking is everything, right? So much of what we look at in life, it's like, I don't have the life I want. Well, what is reality? Reality is simply the combination of the results that you get and the meaning that you ascribe to those results. Now, meaning is something that you choose. So you could have the same results, just interpret them differently, and something you've got a different reality. But at the end of the day, you know, people don't want to have to like play mind games with poor results in order to be happy with their life, right? It's like you want good results, you want effective results. So where do the results come from? Well, results, no matter their quality, good, poor, whatever. Results come, as we've said so often here on this program, from one thing and one thing only, and that is action. Your actions are something that you choose. Okay, again, other people make choices that affect the results that you get, but very often, it's they don't play as major a part as we like to give to them, right? We're all hardwired with this biological hardwiring to resist change, to maintain status quo, a sense of equilibrium. And so, looking at other people and saying it's their fault. I have results that I have in my life because of this other person. This other person made a choice and it affected my life this way. That is really in line with that natural biological hardwiring that we all have in our brains, right? It's like, it helps us to maintain the sense of balance that we have already in our lives, the equilibrium, the status quo, right? Because then it's easy to just sit back and say, oh, well, I don't have to do anything then. Or I can't do anything is a more common thought. I can't do anything to affect my reality. And of course, if you don't do anything differently, you're not going to have any different results, right? Because again, results come from action. So this is just kind of like the biological hardwiring, the mind game that gets played inside of our heads. If you're not aware of what's going on, then it's just going to control you, and that's what you're going to end up with. You're just going to go wherever the waves of life take you, and that's probably not going to be where you want to go. So if you want more effective results in your life, you need to take more effective action. Well, action comes from thinking. Action is the natural manifestation of thought. So if you want to take more effective action to get the more effective results, you need more effective thinking. Thinking, the way that we think, okay, is comprised of several different elements. There are your assumptions, your inner beliefs, what you believe, what you inherently believe to be true without having to have any evidence. It's like these are the postulates that you logically begin with. You've got your attitude, you've got your perspectives, you've got habits of self-talk, the messages that you give yourself. All of these things combine to create your thinking. And so, if you want to change your thinking, then you need to change these elements. And today, we're going to be focusing on assumptions, and specifically the two assumptions that I mentioned in the monologue that many LDS singles have adopted when dating. That's it. Now we're going to get to the part where we apply this to the dating journey, right? So you want to have more effective results, then you need more effective thinking, because it all goes back to the thinking, just like I just described. So the first of these assumptions that I want to talk about is this widespread belief that, oh, another person is magical, somebody that's going to make my life so blissfully happy. They're just going to love me as I am. I I don't have to make any changes. The person's going to see just how wonderful I am as I am right now. And it's just going to be blissfully, lovely, happy. I think we all know it doesn't work that way. And yet many of us make that assumption. Why? Again, it goes back to what I was saying before, that natural hardwiring to maintain status quo. Because that's what that assumption, that's a result that assumption leads to, right? If you believe that you should be loved just as you are now, then you're not going to want to make any changes in you. Why should you? You should be loved just as you are now. You're already good enough. You don't need to make any changes. And so, you go out with this attitude of, presenting yourself as you are now, but that doesn't really align with the fundamentals of the dating journey. Because as we've talked about so many times on this program and also on the World of Ted, if you're not clued into the World of Ted, then, look at some of the videos that I put up about it. I have to admit, you're going to find more of those videos on Rumble than you will on YouTube, simply because, part of the direction that I took for the World of Ted is including, snippets of film clips, and I'm commenting on the film clips, and, that is just triggering YouTube's copyright infringement algorithm like no other. And, I've dealt with this a little bit, and, the way that YouTube has it set up, the copyright owner can basically, you know, mark you as violating their copyright, even though, as in my case, I have I'm using it legally. I'm not violating intellectual property law because I'm covered under what's called fair use. But, the way YouTube has it set up, there's no recognition for fair use. And so the copyright owner has complete control over whether or not you get struck on your copyright. So it's just so much hassle. It's like, you know what? I don't want to deal with this. I should have the freedom to create what I want to create and share it with the world. And, that's why you see it on Rumble, but you're not going to see it on YouTube. So there will still be some World of Ted that I put up on YouTube, but understand you're going to see more of it on Rumble for just that reason. Anywho, back to the matter at hand. We want to, have that natural hardwiring in our brains to maintain the status quo, to resist change. And that's really what's needed. If you have this assumption that you should be loved just as you are, that you're going to be resistant to change. You're going to be resistant to owning your life and making the changes in you that will make you more attractive to the type of person that you're looking to attract. Because that's really what it comes down to, that you really need to. You need to align yourself with that truth. Because we've talked so much here on this program and also on the World of Ted, fundamentals of the dating journey, right? There are separate stages to the journey. And in order to transition to any one of those stages, you need to have the agreement associated with that stage. And the way you get any agreement is by being agreeable enough. So if you're not securing the agreement you need to transition to a particular stage in your dating journey, it's because you are not agreeable enough. Now, how do you become agreeable enough? Well, there's two ways to go about it. You can either find somebody for whom you're agreeable enough as you are now. Good luck with that. Or, and not saying it can't be done. I'm just saying it's the harder option. Or, well, harder in the long run. You get more long-term pain, right? I mean, it's easier in the short term, but harder in the long term. Or you could take the other route, which is, harder in the short term, but easier in the long term, which is make changes in you so that you become more agreeable. Those are your options. So, and most of us, because we're following that natural hardwiring, we're not making conscious choices for ourselves. We're not living in the moment. We're not, really relishing the opportunity we have to exercise agency in this mortal tabernacle, we're just going with what's naturally programmed there. We're following the habit that's naturally in our biological hardwiring, which is maintain the status quo. Don't make any changes in you. And so we have this belief that comes out of that assumption that guides our thinking, which then leads to our actions, which then leads to our results, which helps to create our reality. And that assumption is, I should just be loved as I am now. Frustration is a sign that you're going about something the wrong way. So if you're frustrated, just take a step back and reevaluate your approach, And when you reevaluate your approach, let's go back to your thinking. Let's go back to your assumptions. Let's go back and question your assumptions. If you have this belief that you should be loved just as you are, well, okay, maybe you want to take that harder route, right? I mean, there's nothing really wrong with that. It's just not as effective as taking the other route, which is making changes in you. Making changes in you so you become more agreeable. And, one of us, that requires work. And most of us just don't want to do the work. So we come with these rationalizations in our heads, like this belief that, I should just be loved just as I am. But the reality is, hey, if you should be loved just as you are, right? It's like, if you should be loved just as you are, that's like saying I'm perfect as I am. And I guarantee you, honey, okay, or dude, because I don't know who I'm talking to, um, whoever it is I'm talking to here, listen to me. Just listen to this, okay? You're not perfect. Every one of us has improvements that can be made. Everyone has another level that we can reach to. And, to believe that that's it, it's like, what are you offering the other person? What kind of life are you? It's like you have no real life direction with that, right? I mean, most of the people who believe they should be loved as they are aren't really doing anything with their lives. They're just living. They're just subsisting. They're just existing. They don't really have like a personal ministry or some sort of life purpose that's guiding them, some contribution that they feel they need to make to the world. They're just trying to get by. They're just trying to live and trying to be comfortable. And again, nothing wrong with that. I mean, if that's what you want, I'm just saying that kind of life is not really enticing. Okay, when you look at somebody's you want to share your life with somebody's looking at it saying, I don't know if I want that, because chances are their life is just like that too. They've already got plenty of that on their own. So why are they going to bring somebody else into their life to give them something they already have? Yeah, it's nonsensical. So I'm looking at the time. Hey, we need to take a break. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to come back from the break, okay? And we're going to talk about the other assumption, which is this idea that, um, you know, uh, gee, I forgot what I was going to say. Hold on. I had a brain fart. Oh yes, this idea that you shouldn't have to settle, right? It's this idea that says, well, if you settle, then you're going to be miserable forever. You have to have, you got to have that best. You can't, because if you settle for anything less, you're going to be miserable forever. Yeah, that's a false assumption too. And we're going to talk about that on the other side of the break. I will see you there on the other side.